The reason we started the whole fashion label was because we wanted to make a statement against superficial fashion. If you see our logo, it's the I backwards, upside down, because that's our attitude towards fashion. We want to sort of disturb the system in a way.
I mean, in order to create fashion that is relevant, you have to do more than just create nice clothes. There's so many brands that just create nice clothes, so we definitely want to put clothes that have a meaning behind and that we feel that are relevant to the times we live in.
There are creative directors that recreate the world around them, and then there's creative directors that create their own world. We want to be the creative directors that create their own world. I think those are the poets. We want to be like poets in fashion.
Idioma Studio started when Joel and I met like 3 years ago in Output, when going out was a thing. And that night we immediately started talking about fashion, and after that we just talked about fashion. And we realized in all these dialogues that we were having that we had the same values, and we had a desire to make something that was against superficial fashion. And I think that was the beginning of Idioma Studio.
We were looking at different film movements or cinematic movements. We started with the French New Wave and then moved on to Italian neorealism. And then we were basically introduced to this new movement from Germany called New German Cinema. And that's where we discovered Fassbinder. Fassbinder is the director of World on a Wire, which is titled after our second collection. And the film is basically the Matrix before the Matrix. It's about a supercomputer that generates these identity units that are so complex that they believe their own artificial world is real. And that stress that comes with not knowing if life is real or fake is definitely a connection I made to social media, and how, you know, our digital reflections that we have in Instagram are very different from our actual selves.
Idioma started with dialogues. I feel that dialogues are always a starting point to what we do. Joel and I are constantly in dialogue and exchanging ideas, and I think that's how we combine the best of what we're both thinking of. If one of us doesn't like something, we have to say why, not just because. And I think it makes it more challenging for us to really come up with something that we're both proud of. I think Idioma has grown a lot since our first collection, even though this is just our second collection, but we went from working with our friends as models and as photographers to now working with more professional people from the industry. Even though our friends will always be part of the process, we feel that it's important to make these connections and get to meet people who are also very passionate about what they do. In the film, Fassbinder wanted to give his audience an interpretation of what he thought the future looked like. And with our collection, we wanted to do the same, but in a fashion context.
When we shot our short film, we really wanted to communicate the stress that comes with, you know, the existential crisis, which is then amplified by technology. The thought that I think, therefore I am has shifted to I post, therefore I am, really interested us. How social media is changing our behaviors and the way we think about things. As creative directors, I don't love the word designer, because I'm not a technically trained designer, I'm a creative director. And I think that our role is to be responsible enough to push ideas that can be positive for the younger generation.
I think that I'm honestly tired of seeing so many brands call themselves sustainable, and I think that the fashion industry needs to get more real with what sustainable is.
I think that fashion has a much larger role than people think it does. It can be used as a storytelling device to teach things like history, sociology, and even political ideas.
When we think of the role of creative directors or fashion designers, they have the power to determine what's cool or what's not cool. So why can't we push to make education cool or researching cool?
I think we have the responsibility to make positive things like that as designers.
Yeah. We feel that if someone, a young person learning from our collection or wanting to dig more on our reference, it would definitely make us very happy.
Yes, that would make me cry.